This is unit 2 of animal physiology paper. So the unit 2 is digestion, and in this video we'll study introduction to digestion. Now what is digestion? So digestion is the process where large food particles are broken down into small food particles which can be assimilated. Now this is a process where the animal feeds large food items which is broken down first mechanically and then chemically. So what is the ultimate aim? So the food which is going to be digested, it must be in the form of which can be assimilated, which can be absorbed. So basically digestion is nothing but the process where the food is broken down into small pieces mechanically and then chemically. And this can be mechanical digestion takes place with the help of teeth, tongue, etc. Whereas the chemical digestion takes place by the help of different digestive enzymes. Now there are two kinds of digestion. One is intracellular, another one is extracellular. Now intracellular digestion, as the name suggests, it occurs inside the cell. So we observe this kind of digestion in lower animals like protozoans, which are made up of only one cell, and we also observe it in poriferans and coelentrates, where there is no definite system, digestive system, for the complex process of digestion. So the organisms are very simple, and therefore they follow this method of digestion. So what happens here is the food is directly taken inside the cell, normally by means of phagocytosis, and that food is surrounded by the membrane, and it is converted into a food vacuole. And then what happens? The food vacuole combines with the lysosomes, which contain hydrolytic enzymes, and the food particle which is present inside the food vacuole is digested by the enzymes, and the product of the digestion is absorbed into the cytoplasm. So the cell uses that food as a source of energy and a source of other chemicals which is required for the normal functioning of the cell. So this is intracellular digestion. Whereas in higher animals, which have a definite digestive system, they show extracellular digestion. So extracellular means the digestion, the breakdown of food occurs outside the cell. Then where it happens? It happens in the lumen, in the cavity of the alimentary canal. So you know that uh, intestine is the place, normally intestine is the place where the food is broken down. So it happens in the cavity of the intestine, where the enzymes are secreted and the enzymes act on the food and the digestion takes place. The digested food is absorbed by the wall of the intestine. So this is called extracellular digestion. Now the digestive system of almost all higher animals made up of two important parts. One is alimentary canal and another one is digestive glands. So digestive glands and animal alimentary canals constitute the digestive system of higher animals. Now let us see what is digestive system. I mean, here we are going to study the alimentary canal part of the digestive system. Here I have taken the example of human. But remember, in almost all higher animals, the parts remain same. Only the histological details and length, etc., change from from animal group to animal group. But it is almost same in all the animals. The parts are same. Now, digestive system, as I already mentioned, it is it's the physical part is represented by the alimentary canal. Now, what is the alimentary canal? Alimentary canal is a straight muscular tube which extends between the mouth and the anus. So this is nothing but a muscular tube which extends between the mouth and anus. Now remember, in every animal, it is nothing but the tube extending between mouth and anus. You just recall what you studied in earthworm. So in earthworm, it is a straight, simple tube. Whereas in higher animals, it becomes complex. So it becomes highly coiled and it is differentiated into different parts. For example, it is very simple in earthworm, and in higher animals, you take the example of human beings, it is highly complex, it is coiled, and it is differentiated into different parts. Now, what are those different parts? Mouth, pharynx and esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and the last part is anus. Now remember, from the pharynx up to the large intestine, it is a single muscular tube, but here it is modified for performing different functions. Of course, all the functions are nothing but part of digestive function. Now mouth. So mouth is the opening through which the food enters into the alimentary canal. So uh, in case of human being, the mouth, it is surrounded by, it is bounded by lips, upper lip and lower lip, and there is a roof, there is a floor, and you find teeth in the mouth, and you find tongue. Now, mouth is a very important part of the digestive system because it is the one which is going to receive the food, and the teeth are involved in crushing the food into small pieces. So here mechanical digestion starts. And another important part of the mouth is tongue. So tongue is the organ of taste, and it is the organ of mastication. So the tongue helps in mastication of the food, and it is the one which tastes the food. So whether the food is edible or not, whether it is sweet, whether it is sour, whether it is salty, etc., is identified by the tongue. So therefore, mouth which has tongue, teeth, etc., is the initial part of the alimentary canal. Then pharynx is the common passage. Actually, it is a small tube, and you can say this is the pharynx, and this is a common passage for both respiratory tract and digestive tract. The respiratory tract starts with the nose, and it goes to the lungs, and it carries air, and pharynx is the common passage through which the air is transported during respiration, and food and water is transported during the digestion process. So therefore you can consider it as the common passage. Then esophagus. Now this is the esophagus, which is a simple, narrow, straight muscular tube. Now remember, the whole alimentary canal is muscular, and it is made up of smooth muscles, not the striated muscles. That means the alimentary canal is not under the control of the will. So it is controlled by some other mechanisms. Now, esophagus is a straight, narrow tube which ends in stomach. Now, what is the function of this esophagus? Now, esophagus is mainly involved in transportation of food from the mouth to the stomach, and it passes through the thoracic region of the body. Okay, and there is a process called peristalsis by which the food is pushed from the mouth to the stomach. So the next part is stomach. So stomach is a very large sac-like structure which is made up of thick muscular walls, and its main function is to store the food temporarily, and it stores the food whenever the animal consumes the food. The food is not available all the time, and animal cannot continue to eat food throughout the day, so it will eat the food in intermittent periods, and that food, whenever the food is available, the animal is going to eat large amount of food, and that is going to be stored in this stomach. And the stomach is also the part of alimentary canal where the digestion starts. Later, in later topics, we'll study what kind of digestion occurs in the stomach. Next part is small intestine. Now, small intestine is a narrow, highly coiled muscular tube. Now, it is very long part of the alimentary canal. In different animals, the length varies, but remember, small intestine is present in a highly coiled form in the abdominal cavity, and it is very, very long. Now, small intestine is the most important part of the alimentary canal because this is the part where the digestion starts and digestion is completed. So the complete digestion and absorption of the food occurs in the small intestine. And this is the next part, that is large intestine. Again, it is made up of three parts. Okay, uh, ileum, cecum, and rectum. And okay, let us not worry about that. Even the small intestine is also made up of three parts: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. And this large intestine is also made up of three parts. So here, the main function of the large intestine is reabsorption of water and other things from the food and conversion of undigested food into fecal matter. Now that is the main function of large intestine, and the fecal matter is going to get stored in the rectum temporarily until it is adjusted out of the body through the anus by means of defecation. Now the anus, now digestive glands. Uh, what are digestive glands? Digestive glands are the glands which secrete digestive enzymes or digestive juices which contain digestive enzymes. Now, important digestive glands which are associated with the process of digestion are salivary glands, which are situated in the neck region or in the jaw region. They secrete saliva. You know, saliva is secreted into the mouth cavity, and this saliva helps in mastication of food. It actually softens the food and it moisturizes the food, and it helps in converting the food into bolus. So that is the saliva which is secreted by salivary glands. Then we have gastric glands. Now gastric glands are the glands which are present in the wall of the stomach, and they secrete gastric juice. So gastric juice also contains important enzymes like pepsin and renin, which are involved in the process of digestion, especially the digestion of protein part of the food. Then intestinal glands, which are situated in the intestinal wall, the muscular wall of the intestine, and they secrete a juice called intestinal juice. And intestinal juice contains almost all enzymes required for the digestion of carbohydrate, protein, lipid, and nucleic acids. So all kinds of enzymes are present in the intestinal juice, which is secreted by intestinal gland. Then pancreas. Now pancreas is also a very important gland which secretes pancreatic juice, and the pancreatic juice contains all the enzymes. As the intestinal juice, pancreatic juice also contains most of the enzymes which are required for digestion of carbohydrate, proteins, and lipids and nucleic acids. Then liver is the gland which produces bile juice, and the bile contains some chemicals, you can say, which is associated with lipid digestion. So the details we can see in the further chapters. Now these are the digestive glands: salivary glands, gastric glands, intestinal glands, and pancreas and liver. And lastly, just before conclusion, we can we will understand two different words like mechanical digestion and chemical digestion. I already mentioned it in the beginning. There are two types of digestion. One is mechanical digestion. Now what is mechanical digestion? It is nothing but the physical breakdown of food particles into small pieces, and it happens inside the mouth. Normally it happens inside the mouth. So large food particles are broken down into small food particles with the help of teeth, tongue, etc. So that is mechanical digestion. Now what is chemical digestion? The small food particles, upon entering into the stomach and intestine, they are broken down at molecular level by the chemicals. Now what are the chemicals? Nothing but enzymes. So the enzymatic breakdown of the food particles into smaller particles which can be absorbed by the intestine. So that process is called chemical digestion. Okay, that's about the introductory part of the digestion. In the further chapters, we will study the process of digestion in detail.